Welcome back, Truth Seekers. This is the Athanasius Report, and I am your host, Athanasius. And it's been another busy week, folks. Week full of tragedy around the world, but also a week full of hope for those that decide to go out and seek it. So, over the weekend, I had the opportunity to see Hillary's America and the special Clinton Cash. And I have to tell you, folks, well, for those that haven't already seen my tweets, okay, and those that have seen my tweets, I hate the darn 140 character limit that we are limited to. So I can't really say what I really want to say about it, except that go see both of these specials if you can. By the way, Twitter, come on, can we get like 160? I mean, a standard text handles 160 characters. Come on, get with the times. Get with the times, Twitter, and free Milo. Anyway, both of these movies are must-see events. Happy to hear D'Souza's movie cracked the weekend top 10, and happy to hear that it's also the top-grossing documentary of 2016, and also well on its way to get into like the top 5 of documentaries of all time. So good on him. Hopefully, the momentum will continue. More and more people will go out and see it. And I'm hoping it does well this weekend as well. When I went out last weekend, it was me and my wife, and we went to an early showing of it in our theater. And sad to say, there was not even 10 people in the theater, including us. And the people that were there, they were of the older generation. I think the youngest outside of us was in maybe late 30s, early 40s. So we have a lot of work to do, people, especially when it comes to the younger generation and letting them know what exactly the Clintons are all about, because many of them did not grow up in the 90s, that or at least didn't remember what happened in the 90s with the Clintons and all the scandals and so forth. Anyway, great movie though. If you get a chance to see it, go see it and drag as many people as you can to go see it. So, Hillary's America was the first punch into Hillary's gut. And then Peter Schweitzer followed up with an uppercut in his Clinton Cash film. Breitbart.com offered special access to this 1 hour feature that read like a History Channel special on the mafia. Holy smokes, people. I need to rewatch this because there is so much there that in the fire hose of information, I may have missed a couple points. If Hillary's America killed my interest in ever supporting a Democrat, then Clinton Cash only fueled my anger to see justice brought upon the whole lot of them. And I believe that they are rerunning Clinton Cash. I don't know if Breitbart's doing it, but there's someone else that's doing it. Look it up. And Peter Schweitzer himself is real big on people sharing this around. In fact, this is what was this is what was so funny was that it wasn't just us conservatives that were alone in our support of this movie. Surprisingly enough, Clinton Cash was a top trending Facebook trend among Bernie supporters. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you heard that correct. Over the weekend that it premiered, over 170,000 shares and views of the video happened. This only fueled the rage of a lot of Bernie supporters who were already ticked off by the WikiLeaks information that also occurred this weekend. I'll get more on that in just a sec. You had essentially not just people that knew about the Clinton crimes, or at least had a general idea, but you had people that you would think had drunken too much of the Kool-Aid and wouldn't be able to come back. No, Bernie supporters were showing this around everybody. The video actually garnered something over like 1 million views, and the entire time it was showed over the weekend. And more copies are being pirated and shown as we speak. And Peter Schweitzer's response is this: pirate away. I like this guy. Share the information out as much as possible. It's clear that he's making enough money off of the book that he wrote that he doesn't need to worry about people sharing the film to be able to get the point across as well. So good on him. So yeah, these two movies came out and right before the DNC, the Democratic Convention, and they were good opening rounds. But the event that got most people talking about this weekend was the WikiLeaks emails that got dropped. 19,000 emails from Julia Assange that was given to Julia Assange of WikiLeaks from a hacker of some sort. And no, we don't know who this is. Don't know if it's the Russians, the Chinese, some dude, in his underwear in his mom's basement, whoever it was. Okay, hacked into the Democrat servers. Uh, I think it was a month or two back, and pulled out all these emails. And what are on these emails? Oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, some of you may say that the DNC is not corrupt. Say it isn't so, I can hear some of you say. Well, I'm sad to say to those poor unfortunate souls that the DNC is not full of good, upstanding people. Excuse me. Oh man, I'm sorry, folks. I can't keep my joy in. I'm just so happy that this happened because not only have we, not only have we on the right known about the years of corruption and unscrupulousness that have permeated the Democrat ranks. I mean, these people make Al Capone look like an altar boy, and we also knew that Bernie Sanders was never going to get a nod, but his supporters, for some reason, clung into the belief that yes, they could overcome Hillary, that yes, he could become the Democrat nominee. And then these emails came out, and oh my lord, did it just sucker punch all the Bernie supporters. I mean, when they found out that it was Hillary's turn, that she paid her dues, and now nothing was going to stop her from becoming president within these emails, and I should probably back up here and just say this real quick. For those who don't know what are in the emails, if you've been living under a rock the last week, I'll give you the short end of it. Over 19,000 emails were released that showed that top Democrat officials, Democrat Party officials like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, had colluded with the Hillary Clinton campaign to ensure that she was going to be the presidential nominee for the Democratic Party, and that Bernie Sanders was never going to have a chance in hell. In fact, the collusion went so deep that not only were they, pushing Hillary to the finish line, but they were actively trying to find ways to undercut Bernie Sanders. To give you an example, one email chain listed for the Kentucky, I almost said Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky primaries, were trying to find a way how to use Bernie's Jewish roots as a means to undercut him with evangelicals in the state of Kentucky. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the party that claims that they are for the minorities was trying to find a way to use a minority status against the opposer, Bernie Sanders. And it goes further from there. They referred to Mexicans as taco bowls. There were gay jokes, like things that if a Republican or conservative had said, we would have been hung out and pilloried for all the media to see. But these guys are openly saying it like it's no big deal. Misogynistic jokes. I mean, everything that they rail on Republicans of being racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobe, transphobe, whatever. They were cracking jokes and making off-color comments about these groups in their emails. It was a treasure trove of just how corrupt and how stupid the Democrat Party is. And it was on display for the entire weekend before the Democrat National Convention. Wow, people. And because of this, because of all the emails of corruption and everything like that, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who was the chairperson of the Democratic National Committee, had to step down. She had to resign her position the week of the convention. That's like saying, I'm going to use Tom Brady. I'm not really trying to pick on him here, okay? I don't want to say I don't like the guy, but I don't hate the guy either. He's a good quarterback, but I do think he's kind of a douche in real life. Anyway, sorry, that's neither here nor there. But let's just take Tom Brady for a second, okay? That's like saying that the weekend before the Super Bowl, it comes out that Tom Brady was juicing, and so they had to sit him down for the Super Bowl. That's what this is like, folks. the chairperson is the quarterback for the party. And now that she's down, or now that she had to step down, they had to put in a pinch hitter. And who do they get? Donna Brazile. Who's Donna Brazile? She's a African American woman that you see mostly on CNN pushing the talking points of the Democrat Party. She's also someone that was implicated in the emails as well as being a part of the corruption, including with the Hillary campaign. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they swapped one Hillary sycophant for another Hillary sycophant and expect us to just say, oh, well, it looks like they're, taking care of the problem here within themselves. Yeah, they seem like good, upstanding people. No! Oh my gosh. I couldn't be any more happy about this because it just shows just what a bunch of incompetent, corrupt nincompoops these people are. Oh, if you could just see the grin on my face, it's contagious. You probably would die with a nice grin on your face, kind of like Joker at the end of the Batman '89 movie. Anyway, sorry about that. So, but it gets better, folks. It gets better. So Debbie, even though she is stepping down off from her role chairperson, she already has another job lined up. Okay, besides being a corrupt congresswoman from South Florida, hopefully she gets primaried out and then a Republican takes her spot. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, it gets better. Not even like 25 minutes after she announces that she's stepping down. And guess who comes to her aid? If you said Hillary Clinton, give yourself a cookie. Because not only did Debbie help push Hillary across the finish line for the Democratic nominee, but now Hillary is paying her back by bringing her on as, I think, a manager of some sorts in her campaign, her presidential election campaign. I tell you, folks, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, you would expect this on like some sort of like House of Cards show. I mean, people we're comparing this to House of Cards, but I mean, this is real life. This is what is going on right now. You are seeing the ugliness of the corruption and how deep it goes within the Democrat Party. They look out for each other. Oh, man. And this was all before the Democratic National Convention. I mean, people were talking about how the Republican convention was going to be full of drama and all this, scandal and all these bad things were going to happen. The DNC hadn't even started, and already they're up the creek without a paddle. Oh, and it just got better from there. It was like watching a never-ending train wreck. The emails, and then the VP choice of Tim Kaine. Who? Tim Kaine. I come from Virginia, and I remember this guy getting elected, and boy, what a worthless POS he is. I mean, you talk about a leftist establishment sycophant through and through. I mean, this guy is the perfect match for Hillary Clinton, a match made in hell. He raised taxes in Virginia. The unemployment rate doubled under him. Just a lot of government incompetence. A lot of the state really took a hit when this guy got elected. And now he's a senator from the state, and he continually pushes for pro-abortion rights, anti-gun, and all the other usual leftist screeds. He claims to be a Catholic, which, no, he is not. I am a Catholic. Catholics do not support abortion whatsoever. And for him to sit there and try to pull the, oh, well, in my private life, I don't support abortion, but, I don't let my private life bleed into my public. No, hell no. That is not how we are supposed to act. As Catholics, as Christians, we need to stand up for the truth, and we need to stand up for what's right. Murdering of babies in the womb is not right. It is an intrinsic evil. You have to destroy it wherever you can. So for him to try to claim that he's a good Catholic, no, he's not a good Catholic. Do not fall for that shtick. for any of you Catholics out there that are thinking, well, Hillary, she picked a Catholic, so maybe she's open to, the Christian side. No, she's not. She's just trying to game the damn system. She's picking she's going by the typical political playbook of picking a running mate that can appeal to certain demographics. So she's trying to appeal to the state of Virginia because it is a key battleground state. And while it's more blue than it is red now, thanks to Northern Virginia, man, I really hate the DC bleed off in that area. And then the fact that because he's quote unquote Catholic, and Catholic voters make up a very sizable voting bloc within the United States, she's hoping to attract those two blocks to get her, push her over the line in November. Do not fall for this. Do not allow yourself to think that just because he claims to be a Catholic that it's okay to vote for Hillary Clinton. It is not. And I am going to be doing a separate video on this at a later time. Yes, I can't guarantee when, but I promised you before that I have a group of videos in the works. I've got the script written for the first one. I just have to record it. That's going to detail the moral case for voting, what moral issues we need to pay attention to when we vote, and then I'm going to look in depth at the two candidates and compare and contrast them where they stand on those moral issues. So stay tuned for that. I know it's kind of, an advertisement for the future. Just hang tight with me here, all right? Getting back to the whole Tim Kaine announcement, all right? So she announces Tim Kaine as her VP, and it was met with boos. I can't contain myself, folks. I just can't. This is just too glorious, too perfect. The chance Hillary Clinton had to come out and try to show a different side of herself, that she is a capable leader, that she's capable of being the right person, and she picks a scumbag like Tim Kaine, and already the Democrats are like, oh hell no. Oh, good night. This is just awesome. Oh, and then it gets even better. Hillary does this campaign stump at a VFW event, Veteran Foreign Wars, all right? Why she's doing one there in the first place, I don't know. Who was the VFW official that okayed that one, knowing what a anti-military idiot she is? Anyway, so she's giving the speech there, and they're not applauding. Like, she has pauses in her speech where you think that people will be like, yeah, yeah, and there's nothing. Nobody is applauding. Nobody's cheering. It's like a graveyard in there. And then when she finished, the speech there, they did an interview with some of the people there, and she just got raked over the coals in some of their comments. At the same time, Debbie Wasserman Schultz is having a breakfast with Florida delegates right before the convention, and she's getting booed. She got booed right off the stage. And then they brought in Nancy Pelosi, another POS from California, she was the infamous, well, we have to pass Obamacare to see what's in it. I hate her. No, I shouldn't say I hate. We don't hate people here, but I strongly dislike her to the point where I really wish God would have pity on us and call her home. Anyway, Pelosi, all right, freaking got booed off the stage too. Oh man, and then the Bernie supporters started chanting "Lock her up," which started at the Republican National Convention. Oh man. And then you had Bernie Sanders himself, and whatever devil's deal they made with him to get him to come out and endorse Hillary Clinton. So he comes out and he tells his supporters there, we fought, long and hard, and it was a good campaign, and they're all, Yeah, Bernie, Bernie, Bernie. And then it gets the killing line, the punchline there. But we have to throw our support behind Hillary and Tim Kaine. And the mood of the place just went from yeah to no, lock her up, boo. And he got booed off the stage too. Oh man, I can't contain myself. The entire morning, Monday morning, I wore the biggest, dumbest grin, only stopping occasionally to laugh with glee as I was catching little news snippets that were coming in about this. This, to me, was Christmas. It was a sign that God looked upon the Democrats and said, yeah, no. Tired of letting you evil SOBs screw over the innocent people. I ain't helping you out on this one. Good luck. Again, this was all before the Democrat National Convention. So the wheels were already coming off the trains right before the convention hit. And when the convention hit, I mean, it went full retard, ladies and gentlemen. It was, uh, oh, it was a great week for that, and it's one that gives me hope because a lot of people are now seeing the corruption, the BS, and the tactics of the Democrat National Party, and a lot of them being turned off by it. So I'm not gonna spend the entire rest of the time talking about each day of the Democrat National Convention for two reasons. First reason is I didn't watch the full event. I read snippets up online about it because I could not bring myself to watching it live and just listening to these people. And for the sake of my poor wife and her innocent ears, and for the sake of my blood pressure and overall health, I could not listen to the parade of idiots that are usually brought out during the Democrat National Convention. The unpatriotic, the racist, the bigoted, the stupid, the anti-gun, the pro-abortion, like the whole gamut was on display. So I read snippets about the different talkers, the different speakers that came out during the nights there. And the second reason why I could not watch because I don't have cable, thereby I don't really have an opportunity to watch it live. I mean, yes, I could go online and stream, but I was also pretty busy this week as well, running around taking care of some other issues that popped up on the home front. So, yeah, I didn't really miss anything that much because what I'm going to do is compare and contrast what the Republican convention did versus what the Democrat convention did, and over the entirety of the 4 days between the two conventions, and just contrast the two parties, and let you. No, I'm not going to let you be a judge. I'm just going to tell you outright that the Republicans had the better message. So the Democratic convention. Oh, and let me just go ahead and get this out of the way about the Democratic National Convention. I don't really remember during the Cleveland Convention, the RNC, there being any real terrible weather patterns or storms that popped up or whatever. But at the DNC, it was pretty much the entire week. It was nothing but one bad storm after another. Flash flood warnings. They had to evacuate the media tent at least once that I know of. I think a couple other times because of just lightning strikes and then the fear of static electricity and lightning and shock and everything like that. I mean, it was almost as if God was saying like, yeah, I'm just gonna rain on your parade because I don't like you guys. You people are evil, and I'm not gonna help you out. So yeah, here's a nice set of thunderstorms to just kind of rain on you out. Anyway, so I have to get that out of the way first because the first thing you look at is the Republicans didn't really have that many weather problems that I know of. The Democrats did. Yeah, there may be some supernatural, or a sign or something going on here. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get on to the differences between the two conventions. First off, the Republican convention, from everything that I saw when I was watching it, was always packed. It was full to practically capacity. I didn't see a whole lot of empty seats, but there were, except for like the earlier nights. But when it came time to like the big nights, where the major speakers were talking, especially with Trump or whatever, I didn't really remember seeing a whole lot of empty seats for there. The Democrat convention, on the other hand, they had to pay people to sit in the arena. Yes, folks. There was two reasons for this. One, because obviously not enough people wanted to hear their message. Two, they were trying to keep Bernie supporters out of the convention because the Bernie supporters were being raucous, they were being loud, they were letting the Democrat National Committee know about what they thought of the WikiLeaks emails, the corruption, the fact that their guy didn't get elected, and so on and so forth. So they hired a bunch of people to come in and fill up seats, thereby saying the Bernie supporters, "Oh, sorry, we're full, so we can't let you in because of fire marshal rules and capacity and all that." Sorry, folks. Why the world's closed. That's the first thing I want to point out here is that you had a lot more enthusiasm for people coming to hear the Republican message than you did for people coming to see the Democrats and hear their message. When you have to pay people to come in and sit in the seats, you know your message sucks. The second thing about this is that the Republican painted a realistic portrait of where we are in America. Democrats, it was rainbow farts. Let me try that again. It was rainbows and unicorn farts. It was complete fantasy land in there. Republicans were accused of being dark and twisted and, painting a dour picture of the country during the time. No, what the Republicans did was they painted a realistic approach here. Cops are being shot every day. We're being overrun on our borders. There's 95 million Americans out of the labor force. There's corruption, crime going on within the government in our inner cities. Minorities are being minorities face a higher unemployment rate than at any other time. Racial divides are greater than any other time. I mean, Muslim extremists, Islamic terrorism. I mean, they did not hold back when it came to giving a realistic picture of what was happening with the country. They were telling the people the truth. They were saying, this is what the problems are in the country. This is what we, the Republicans, intend to do to fix it. The Democrats, on the other hand, their whole thing was, what are you talking about? This is still the greatest country in the world, and, everything's great, and, we have health care for everybody, and, we're taking care of, welfare, and, our education system, and then at the same time they're trying to paint this picture of, everything's been great under Obama and so forth. They try to have it both ways and then say, well, we need to, continue the change, and we need to, work to enact, more of the same policies that, have been failing the last few years, and then things will get better. Yeah. No, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that, things have been great and then we need change. You can't do that. But that's exactly what they did. And that's why I say that the Democrat National Convention was based on fairy tales and rainbows and fairies and all this other magical, mystical bullshit. Excuse me. Almost dropped a S-bomb there. But, I mean, it's inconceivable that anybody would be buying up this malarkey, yet you do have your diehard leftist sycophants that do. Bernie's supporters weren't really one of them, though. Anyway, third thing. The Republicans put out a message of hope, a message that you need to vote this November because our country is at a definite crossroads where we are either going to die or we are going to succeed. But if you vote for us, we will fix it. The Democrats put out a message of fear. If you let the Republicans get in, then women are going to have to go into the back alleys to get abortion, and little Johnny's going to go hungry at school because there won't be any school lunches, and the education standards are just going to keep falling, and violence is going to keep going up, and I mean, you just listen to these people, and it's just these dire. Oh, we're. If we don't vote for Democrats, this country's going to go to hell in a handbag. The country's already at hell, all right? It's because we've been, ruled by a darn Democrat, leftist, communist sycophant by the name of Obama, and we have not had any real opposition by the Republicans because he's black and they don't want to be perceived as racist, that we are in the mess that we are in. It wasn't George W. Bush that added another $10 trillion in debt to this country. It wasn't George W. Bush that increased the amount of people on welfare by, 1.4 million? I mean, it wasn't George W. Bush that that had the lowest labor force participation rate since the 1970s. Almost 95 million Americans are out of the labor force. 1 out of every 4 or 5 Americans does not have a job. Meanwhile, 25 million immigrants, both illegal and legal, have jobs. Anybody see the problem with this picture here? The fourth thing, the Republicans at the beginning, there was a little bit of disunity between the Cruz camps and the rest of the party. The Cruisers were really hoping they could somehow upstage the rules and get their candidate in. Towards the end, though, when Cruz made his infamous backstabbing speech, you saw more party unity. I mean, when you had the delegates of Texas even stand up and boo their guy, then you know that there was more unity. You could see that at the end there, the party had started coming together, and Trump sealed that more with his speech. And you could look at the numbers. You can see that 75% of Americans saw Trump's speech as positive, as a good message for America, and you're now starting to see his favorability ratings start to tick up. In fact, they're above Hillary Clinton's now, but I'll get to those in just a minute here. Meanwhile, on the Democrat side, the entire time there was this unity. Starting, in the weekend, I've already talked to the WikiLeaks and what happened with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and getting ousted, and the Bernie supporters booing. But during the entire convention, the Bernie supporters would not let up. It got so bad for the Hillary sycophants that they were shutting lights off on Bernie supporters in the stands to try to hide them from the television cameras and try to make it look like there was nobody sitting there or what have you. They were confiscating Bernie Sanders signs and any anti-Hillary signs. They were kicking people out that were chanting for Bernie and everything in the convention. And they were, I already talked about, the paying people to come into the seats and to keep the Bernie supporters out. And then outside the convention, those Bernie supporters that weren't there, they were chanting, they were protesting. I will admit that it didn't get to the full-blown riot like I predicted in my last video. However, it did get to a point that you did see flag burning, you did see some confrontation with the cops, you did see them trying to hop over the fence. Oh yeah, that's another thing too. The Democrats, I love this, okay? You can't build a wall on the southern border. That's racist. You can't, keep these people out. Walls don't work and everything. And yet they built an 8-foot-high wall 4 miles around the convention center to keep the Bernie supporters out. Oh, my gosh, people. Hello, irony. Are you there? Hello. So you had just complete disunity throughout, even after Hillary's speech. The Bernie supporters would not let it go. They would not let go of the fact that they did not like Hillary. You saw more anti-Trumpers at the Republican convention come out and say, you know what, after what Cruz did and then hearing Trump's speech, I can look at this guy and say, okay, I might be able to vote for him, or I am going to vote for him because he's going to be better than Hillary. Not so much on the Democrat side. Bernie supporters were saying, oh, hell no, oh, hell no. They were taking Hillary signs and they were, transforming the letters to say liar on it. It was great. And then you had Jill Stein, the moon bat from the Green Party, show up at the Democrat convention, and she started poaching Bernie supporters. She basically picked up the torch that Bernie had dropped and was now claiming the mantle of being the next revolutionary towards socialism. And I hate socialism. I'm not laughing at the fact that people are stupid enough to buy into that, but I'm just laughing at the fact that from a tactical standpoint, Jill Stein was smart enough to show up there and poach all those disenfranchised Bernie supporters. And then, so you had a lot of, Bernie supporters saying on camera that, I'm voting for Trump over Hillary, or I'm going with Jill, not Hill. Oh, man. And the fifth thing that I noticed here was that you had, at the Republican convention, you had a lot of love and a lot of respect given to law and order officials, cops, sheriffs were allowed to talk, and you had a lot of love and respect given towards military members. You had members from Benghazi that were speaking there. You had Marcus Luttrell, the lone survivor, who spoke up there as well. He gave a very passionate speech. I didn't mention it in my last blog. I completely forgot about it, but looking back at it again, it was a very heartfelt speech, and I should have given him the credit due on the last one. I'm sorry, Marcus, if you happen to get this. You're a great guy. That speech was really good, and I do hope that you're able to continue to help out this campaign any way you can. Now, you compare that with the... Oh, and then you also had the victims of illegal immigrants, the families of victims of illegal immigrants come up and tell the stories of their kids and how they were murdered by illegal immigrants that should not have been in this country, but they either were deported and came back, or they entered the country illegally and they committed crimes. They were let out from jail and committed crimes again, and just, the lives that were ruined because of this. So a lot of emphasis focused on law and order within the Republican National Convention. Now, compare that to the Democrats. The Democrats were supporting Black Lives Matter. There were no uniformed cops present on the floor. There were they had, certain military members, but they were booed. Or one Medal of Honor recipient, as he was talking, a number of the delegates turned their back on the guy. I mean, and then you had mothers of people like Michael Brown speaking, okay, talking about how their poor little baby was shot by the racist cops. And no, your son was a thug. He robbed a store, and then he tried taking a gun from a cop, and then the cop defended himself. Your kid deserved to be shot. And no, I'm not going to apologize for that. And no, don't you dare call me a racist for that. If I went up to a cop and I beat the hell out of him and tried stealing his gun, I deserve to be shot. But just look at a comparison between the Republicans and Democrats. The Democrats were flaunting the lawlessness of these people. They had a legal immigrant come up, or a dreamer come up with her mother, and gave the story of, my mom came over the border with my daddy. They're undocumented immigrants. No, they're illegal. They're criminals. Okay, if I break into your house, I am not an undocumented visitor. I'm a criminal. I'm a trespasser. But, they came here looking for opportunity, and, I'm just afraid that the Trump, the big mean Trump is going to, deport my family back. Well, good. Go with them. I mean, I'm not about, splitting families up here. Send a little thumbsuckers with them. Kick them all out. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. And we need to stop granting, quote unquote, automatic citizenship to anchor babies. Sixth thing that I noticed there was that the message at the RNC was, very pro-life. They talked about the pro-life judges that Trump wanted to put onto the Supreme Court, or were considering to put on the Supreme Court. There was a lot of people that had espoused pro-life views, that talked about ending abortion and so forth. And even in their platform, they adopted a pro-life platform. The DNC, they had feminists after feminists talking about women's rights, i.e. abortion on demand. Hillary herself, wants to make abortion free. Have taxpayers pay for it. You had Cecil Richards, the freaking evil troll from Planned Parenthood, give a glowing speech about Hillary Clinton, how she's going to help out the cause there by giving more taxpayer dollars to Planned Parenthood. So yeah, if you want good morals, don't look at the Democrat Party there. And then the last big thing I'm going to focus on between these two conventions was that the Republicans talked a lot about the Second Amendment and their support of it, and making sure that we, the people, never would be put in a position where we'd have to give up our guns, rights for guns, and so forth. Okay, the Democrats, on the other hand, to capitalize, you had Kesha, who, does anybody still listen to her? I don't know. And didn't she do that stupid thing where she put a $sign in her name or whatever to be different, an artist or whatever. Anyway, she comes up, and this is the line of the Democrat Party when it comes to what they think about our guns. That we will be the one to tell people they can own fucking guns. That I don't have the quote directly in front of me, but it was something like that. Okay, First off, no, you are not going to tell us whether we can have guns or not. We are allowed to defend ourselves. We have a God given right to use whatever means necessary that we see fit to defend ourselves. And that includes using guns. You want to know who, likes that idea about telling the people whether or not they can have guns or not? Let's see. Communist, socialist, fascist, i.e., Stalin, Mao, Lenin, Hitler, Mussolini, Pol Pot, Tito, Phnom Penh. No, it was Phnom Penh. Ho Chi Minh. I mean, I could go on, okay? And every time that they've done this, millions of people have been butchered because the first thing you do to control a population is you take away their guns. You take away their means to fight back. Ugh. But again, this was, typical of the Democratic Party. These people would just spread lies and rhetoric and fear, and then they turn around and say, well, the Republicans did that. That was all what they were about, their convention. No, they weren't. Okay, you're projecting your own fallacies, your own problems onto the Republicans. Some other key points about this. You saw a lot of stars at the Democrat National Convention. Okay, they were trying to go for the Hollywood angle and just say, oh, we got all these famous people. Okay, and you want to, you like these famous people, right? Actually, no. You probably don't know this, over there because you got your head shoved so far up your butts, Debbie, and the other Democrats. But Hollywood is not doing so well right now. In fact, this whole, blockbuster summer and everything it's kind of a fizzle. They're not really raking in the money they once had, and stars that had the power they once, years back or whatever, no longer have that power because they've done nothing but crap on the American people with their movies and with their stupid antics. But according to the Democrats, if we just throw a bunch of Hollywood stars up there that speak, even though their forte is acting, okay? You're paid to act. You're paid to play a part and to act a certain role. We don't want to hear about your idiocy when it comes to global warming or some other. Look, if I wanted that from you, okay, I would have you sign a petition, or I would sign a petition to have you, go be the next Neil deGrasse or whatever. Anyway, so these idiots think that because they throw a bunch of stars out in front of us, famous people, that, we're somehow just going to come to their side or whatever. No, not really. It's probably this one I still don't understand. How the hell is she famous? Okay, Lena Dunham. I mean, you talk about the walking embodiment of a pig, all right? You got this woman right here. She comes. I know why they rolled her out, because they want to play up the the females affected by sexual assault and how the Democrats are there for. Okay, first off, Lena, you were not sexually assaulted, because John Nolte of Breitbart. Is he still part of Breitbart? I don't know. Anyway, but John Nolte, look him up. He's on Twitter. He did a expose where he went in depth and interviewed the person that you supposedly pointed the finger at based off your vague clues in your book, and found out that no, he never even met you, and so, he never had anything to do with you on that. So he proved you wrong about that. And then the fact that you, up until this point, never really went anywhere with the story. You never, told the cops. You still didn't press charges about towards the guy on it, even though it was within statute of limitations. You're a liar. You're not a sexual assault victim. Shut up already. But, but yeah, no, they roll her out, trying to claim sexual assault or whatever. And really, she is, just a piece of human filth. All right, you look at the history of this lady here. She is herself a sexual assaulter. She sexually molested her little sister growing up. And some of this, I'm not even going to go into the stories of it because it's too graphic, but look them up, all right? They're just horrendous. But this is the sort of people that the Democrats roll out, and they expect us to just look and say, oh, look, she's off that one show from HBO that nobody watches because it sucks. And we're just supposed to, think, oh, well, they think that, oh, well, we'll just, get in line with a bunch of clapping seals and, just say, oh, this is awesome, star-studded power. No, it doesn't work like that, folks, okay? Then you had Sarah Silverman, who I think she got booed. Who cares? Elizabeth Banks, which, again, who cares? I don't even know or like half these people as actors and movie stars, and I'm probably not alone in that. Probably not alone in that in America. Anyway, then you had Joe Biden come out and try to give his appeal, and there was a number of lies within his speech. Again, the speeches are based off of lies and fear mongering and so forth. But that's the Democrat way to try to scare you into voting for them because they think they're going to make it better. It goes back to the days of slavery on the plantation or whatever. All right, they use fear, intimidation, and lies to keep people on the plantation, and that's exactly what they're trying to do here. Again, they want to keep people on the plantation of government control. Anyway, Obama in his speech, okay, yeah, everything is great, but it's not, okay, but he's going to say it anyway. Then 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 you had the speakers come out and say, oh, Trump is just a big meanie and he talks a lot of stuff, but he doesn't offer any solutions. Republicans don't offer any solutions. I can think of a few right off here. I'll repeal the Johnson Amendment, thereby allowing church leaders the ability to speak politics from the pulpit, which we need again. Support pro-life amendment, cut taxes and regulations for everybody, small businesses, repeal Obama's executive actions, repeal Obamacare and replace it with something else. Again, I'm not too keen on the whole replacing it with something else. I would much rather just repeal it and just let it die and just, slowly cut government around. But, it's at least a step toward, they at least offer a step in the right direction other than, oh, let's just keep Obamacare. We'll just make tweaks here and there and, maybe we'll fix it. No, gut that damn thing. All right. Then you have, and then, everybody gets up on Melania Trump for plagiarizing the first lady or whatever. And then what does Obama do? He plagiarizes Alexis de Tocqueville. All right. America is great because it's sound, because it's good or whatever. I mean, it's just, yeah, pot calling the kettle black here. Then you had Bill Clinton phoning in his speech, and I tell you, you look at the guy, and I don't know what anybody ever saw in that man. I mean, back then he was not a good speechwriter at all. He's not a good, speaker at all. But yes, he was charismatic. He certainly had, a amiable personality that you could probably get along with and have a beer with or whatever. But listen to the guy speak or whatever. He comes off as a blithering idiot sometimes. And this speech was no exception. And then the other thing too, you look at him like, he looks like he's gonna die. Like he's got some sort of like syphilis or AIDS or some other sort of STD that he's probably got from the thousands of women that he's porked over the years. Too bad he didn't give it to Hillary. Anyway, but I do believe that she is sick because during her speech, which I couldn't bring myself to watching it. I wanted to just to see what it had, but I just could not bring myself to going back and pulling up a YouTube video. So I read a transcript and I did hear some clips on the talk radios and so forth. And oh man, Hillary. You see, here's the thing why Trump is really connecting with his people. He talks like them. He talks to them as adults. He doesn't sit there and try to pander to them. He doesn't sit there and lie to them. He sits there and tells them the truth. He tells it like it is, and he speaks to them in a style that they can understand. A lot of the, conservative big heads hate that because, well, he's not speaking like an intellectual. He's not speaking to us. Well, no, because you only make, 0.0001% of the population within the United States? No, he's speaking to the 99% of us who, don't have egghead educations and maybe only have, up to a 6th grade vocabulary. I don't really remember a lot of the words past 6th grade, okay, unless for 4-letter words that I learned in the Navy. That's another story. But Clinton, she comes out, and we are going to make this country, do things, and I'm gonna play the women card and deal me in. And oh man, it's like listening to a robotic witch of the West. Oh, it's irritatingly bad. To the point that my computer decided to commit suicide last week. Yes, that's why this vlog took so long. And that last part that you just heard about the Wicked Witch of the West, that was the last part that I recorded before the battery on my computer took an absolute dump and crashed or burned out, whatever the hell you say about batteries. And that's why this has taken so long to get out, because I've been dealing with issues of trying to figure out what is wrong with my computer, why it won't turn on, and now that I've narrowed it down to the battery, I'm just waiting for a new one to come in. Getting back to what I was saying, though, last week, yes, Hillary sounds like the Wicked Witch of the West is in her speech. She cannot connect with people the way she speaks, ladies and gentlemen. She is horrible when it comes to this, because her voice comes off as some condescending professor lecturing you about the evils of capitalism. She just cannot sound natural, and she cannot sound like a normal human being. That's one advantage that Donald Trump has, and that when you listen to him and you talk to him, and this is why he gets made fun of a lot, is because he doesn't talk like some highbrow professor or somebody lecturing to you, or some preacher as some other politicians that we know of. Excuse me. No, he talks like a regular human being. Anyway, getting back to Hillary, though. Okay, so her speech was, just those few snippets that I listened to on the radio, and then the transcripts that are, oh my gosh, it was god awful. It offers nothing except a complete and utter attack on Donald Trump. And she complains about Donald Trump not being able to provide any solutions to the issues or whatever. Yeah, no, hers was absolutely garbage. She had nothing going for her except that, vote for me because I'm a woman, and if you don't vote for me, you're a sexist. And yeah, it just, the fact that she sounds like that, the fact that she cannot get off her leftist screed, the fact that she can't do anything but yell into the microphone, just proves how much of a disconnect she has with the regular middle class American. And it shows, ladies and gentlemen. You look at the numbers of who watched both speeches, Trump's and Hillary's. Trump beat her by almost 2 million. I mean, it seemed like a lot, okay? But let's let's look in the grand scheme of things, okay? Compare this to like Barack Obama back in 2008, the first black. He's a mulatto. He's not really black, but okay. But the perception of the first black man running for president, and how many people tuned into him because of the novelty of it. Of, oh my gosh, all we've had is white dudes as a president. Could he, be the combo breaker that, we get a black president in for a change? And so there was a real novelty to it. Hillary should have that same appeal of, oh my gosh, it's all been dudes this whole time. We could get, the first female president, whatever, but nobody is buying into it because she is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And this is further reflected in the polls. Now, I'm not going to go too much into this, because if you listened to my last message a couple days ago about the disrespect I got as a veteran and a Trump supporter from a couple coworkers, then you would know what my feelings are on the polls here. To sum up for those who have not yet seen that video, which I asked you go listen to, because it actually I get very passionate in that one. I think I did a good job, keeping my passion under control, but also delivering a really good rallying cry for why we shouldn't be listening to these people. Anyway, sorry. Getting back to the polls in summary here, okay? When Trump gave his speech, he got a bump, and it was a very noticeable bump to where he took lead over Hillary Clinton in, for the first time in this campaign. Then what did the pollsters do, like Reuters and so forth? Well, it was Reuters that started it. Reuters then changed the way that they were going to conduct the polls, where they got rid of the neither or none of the above option. So it forced people to have to pick one of the candidates: Trump, Hillary, Jill Stein, or that other guy, the libertarian nut job. then all of a sudden, oh wow, we saw an uptick in support for Hillary Clinton, so she's going to beat Donald Trump come this fall. No, 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 no. The only reason why there was an uptick is one, you took the none of the above or neither option, which means that people had to pick. And so they're not. A lot of people aren't going to pick Trump because the perception is that if you're with Trump, you're a racist, bigot, homophobe, so forth, and nobody wants to do it because they don't want the conflict. The other thing too is that you look at the sample size, as I keep harping on, and in that particular one, they asked like 100 more Democrats than Republicans. Yeah, obviously you're going to have a higher uptick for Hillary. But here is what's interesting is that the beginning of the week, when all the Khan and Gold Star family BS was going on, and whether it can unify the party and so forth, and I'll get to that in just a second here. They had Trump down as low as much as like 15 points. I think it was one poll, and I don't know. No, Fox was 10 points. I don't know what the 15 point was, but there was a 15-point deficit in one poll. Now, at the end of the week, Reuters has a new poll where Trump is within 3 points of Hillary Clinton. This is telling. This is so very telling, and it has the pollsters, the pundits, the establishment types, the globalists, all running scared because it shows Trump is gaining momentum, or has momentum, and he's gaining even more momentum. And I think that, especially after the whole controversy, there a lot of people, at first were mad at what Trump said, but I think once it started coming out that Khan was not who he says he was, that he is a Sharia supporting, Muslim immigration supporting snake in the grass, I think a lot of people were starting to realize that, wait a minute, what am I being sold here? Anyway, I may be reading too much into it, I don't know. But that's how I interpret what's going on. And it's going to continue to, I think it's going to continue the build on this, because the more that you put Hillary out there, which she doesn't want to go out there, and her handlers are keeping her from going out there, because the more that she is exposed out there, the more people realize, wow, this lady is scum. Like, she has nothing. I mean, they have to manufacture her town hall meetings because they can't risk anybody asking a random question and causing her to short circuit. And by the way, that was her words over the whole lies and Comey and so forth. I mean, this lady is so out of touch. How is it that enough people somehow find her a threat? I don't know. So Trump is gaining, okay? And you're also seeing, not just in the polls, a reflection of what I think is going to be a big turnout for Trump in the general election, but now you're also seeing some media types starting to turn on her and get tired of her lies. Jake Tapper on CNN earlier this week actually called out a couple of his guests for trying to defend the lies and everything. He said, and I don't remember exactly what he said, but he called them out for it. Yeah, it's just one person, but one person is usually the start of something, and whether it spreads to the rest of the media, who knows? It could be that he was just having a bad day, and he just took his frustrations out on the guests there and just let it slip. Don't know. But then you have other people speaking out more and more against Hillary. I love the it's kind of off topic, but I love the line from Clint Eastwood earlier this week. The great actor, great director. I love Gran Torino. It's one of my favorite movies he's ever done. And I love the line he said this week that, this generation is a bunch of pussies and they can't, cope with, what's going on and so forth. I mean, great. I love the fact that he just says it so plainly, and, everybody gets all mad at him about it. And I've heard, some millennials on Fox were all butthurt about it. Like, oh, that's terrible. You can't say that. But, there's some other millennials like, yeah, we are a bunch of pussies. Our generation sucks, and unfortunately, I'm grouped in with the millennials, so I have to say that, yes, my generation sucks. I hate being grouped in with the millennials. I don't know, I feel like the redheaded stepchild of the millennial family. Anyway, so there's more and more people speaking out against it, but unfortunately, that also means that there is a cost to this. And if anyone's been paying attention, there's been some weird deaths that have happened in the last 6 weeks. 5 people total that have ties to Hillary or the DNC have ended up dead. One was an author that published 3 books on the Clinton lies, murders, and drug running scandal in Arkansas. He was found dead on top of a mountain with a gunshot wound. No indication he was ever suicidal to his family. I mean, just completely weird. Then you have another guy, a lawyer that served Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the DNC summons papers for court for a class action lawsuit. He died a couple days ago. Girlfriend found him dead on the bathroom floor. Another DNC staffer that rumors are circulating that he was the guy that leaked the DNC emails to Guccifer 2, who was the one that or gave Guccifer 2 access to or told Guccifer 2 where to find the DNC emails that got leaked to WikiLeaks and so forth. I don't know whether this is true or not, and who knows if it's ever true, if it's ever going to be true. But he was also blowing the whistle on the rigged election status as well, and he ended up being shot at like 4 something in the morning in Washington D.C. and they classified it as a robbery. But the weird thing is that his cell phone wasn't taken, his watch wasn't taken, his wallet wasn't taken. The guy was beat up and shot. You have a UN official or ex-UN official that had close ties to Hillary, and he somehow dropped a dumbbell on his throat and crushed it. How? I mean, I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, because all these are certainly, within the realm of possibility, but it just seems very, very unlikely. And then the last one, who the hell was this one? Oh, the last guy was the previous DNC chairperson right before Debbie Wasserman Schultz. So again, rumors abound as to, did he know something about the deal beforehand, and so they silenced him before he could speak out against the whole rigging system and so forth. Who knows? What I do know is that if you look into the sordid history of the Clinton family, the Clinton crime family, you'll notice that there are a lot of coincidental deaths that surround people that could have harmed the Clinton family. I don't even think the mafia has as high as a body count, or at least they probably won't admit to it. It's kind of scary when you think about it, just the lengths that these people will go to protect themselves and protect their power. And that's why the sooner that we can depose them, dispose them, and make sure that they can never come back, the better. Anyway, and then I'm going to talk just a little bit more on Trump and what he's doing now against Hillary and Obama, and then I'm going to get off the whole election stuff here, and I'm going to finish up this blog with some other stories. He's been rolling out some new ads using the testimony of Comey, using Hillary Clinton in her own words. He had one that came out that used her own words about there's 2 different standards, one for everyone else and one for Hillary. And then he, played all the times that she's got off and everything, and it's great. I mean, talk about a real, knuckle buster. And then, but he needs more ads like this, and I'm hoping that he's going to start doing that now that he's made peace with the Republican establishment, at least for now. I know that a lot of you are probably frustrated the fact that he endorsed Ryan and McCain and Ayati, and you're really hoping that those people get voted out and get some fresh blood in there, get some people that actually care about this country and their positions there. And I agree with you. I completely 100% agree with you. I want to see Ryan gone. I want to see McCain gone. I want to see Ayati gone. I want to see every GOP establishment rhino puke gone. I want them out because they're doing nothing but harming the country, and they're harming Trump's chances of winning this election. However, given the fact that incumbents have a high percentage of getting reelected, it's statistically proven. I mean, there's not much I can really do or say about that. I can see where Trump is coming from in trying to make peace with the establishment to try to unify the party, so he only has to focus on one side, which is the Democrats, Hillary and Obama, and doesn't have to worry about these idiots backstabbing him. I still think they're going to backstab them because that's just who they are. They can't help but backstab anybody that they feel is a threat to themselves. They don't care about the rest of the party. They don't care about the rest of the country. They care about themselves and their personal little power they have in their positions. So it's one of those deals that, as frustrating as it is, I can understand why he had to do it. I just hope that the voters are smart enough come the primaries to vote these guys out, in which case it becomes a moot point. But in case it doesn't, in case they do happen to retain, Trump is going to have to work with them. So he is going to have to try to play nice with them, at least until he gets elected. Now, once he gets elected, who knows who knows what's going to happen. I don't know if Ryan's going to try to impeach him, or if they're just going to try to block any of his reforms or anything like that. I mean, if they try to do that, I know Trump will go to the people like what Reagan did and use the power of the people to speak around them. I don't know if it's going to be enough to get around this time. If calling him, emailing him, faxing him, using our voices is enough this time. Who knows? But if it isn't enough, I mean, at that point, then the country's already too far gone, and then we're pretty much going to be talking about, possible revolution at that point. But I really don't want to go down that path. Anyway, that's all I'm going to talk about for politics for this time period till next week and so forth. So let me go ahead and finish up with a few other stories here. So we're now seeing almost daily Muslim attacks. We had another one in Brussels today where a dude took a machete and hacked at two female officers. They both survived, thankfully. We had one earlier this week where a Somali 19-year-old immigrant from Norway for, well, I mean, okay, I guess they're coming from all over the place now. But he was in London and he went on a stabbing spree, killed one woman from Tallahassee, Florida, who I believe, if I read correctly, was the wife of a professor at Florida State University. So she was there for a some sort of like study program or teaching program or something like that, and that was the last day, and then she was supposed to fly back. I think it was like that day or the next day, and he comes by and stabs her and stabs a bunch of other people. She dies, and the other people are just injured. So the British are calling it mental illness. He was mentally ill, but there's the fact that yes, he comes from Somalia, and I don't ever call me a racist on this, but let's be perfectly blunt. Somalia isn't exactly a Christian bastion. It's Muslim, almost pretty much through and through. So good chance this guy was Islam, and then not only that, but there was another article I caught today showing that he had been studying jihad. Go figure. I mean, yeah, mental illness. The irony is that, yes, I would classify anybody that goes through with jihad as being mentally ill and unfit for society, but it's just the fact they try to use this to, wave away his sort of, actions, like, oh, it's just autism. He just doesn't know what he's doing, or he's, bipolar, or he's, God, these people. When are you gonna wake up, Europe? Huh? When are you gonna wake up and find your balls? I can't believe that the same continent that produced such brilliant leaders like Charlemagne, Winston Churchill, El Cid, I can't believe that such great men came from such a continent as yours. What happened to you? Socialism, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happened. The biggest story for this week, though, when dealing with Muslims, is the 400 million hostage payment to Iran. And that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen. There is no other way to describe it. It was a hostage payment. I mean, let's just lay it out real quickly here. Supposedly, we had a arms deal go south with the Shah of Iran way back before he got deposed in the 1970s, and we kept the money that was supposed to go to arms, and we've been sitting on it for all this time, and now we're finally getting back to, okay, well, first off, it was for the Shah of Iran. Shah of Iran's not there anymore, dude. Shah of Iran's gone. It's now the mullahs and the extremists and Hitler Jr.'s over there. Okay, that want to wipe Israel off the face of the earth, kill the Jews and Christians. That's the first red flag there. The second one is the timing of it all. That the hostages get released at the same time that Iran gets the $400 million. I may have been born on a Monday, but it wasn't last Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And then the third red flag that should raise everybody's eyebrows is the method in which they gave them the money. It wasn't open at all. There was no transparency on this. It was done covertly in the dead of night. They didn't use American dollars. They went to other countries and swapped our dollars for those currencies and then packaged them all up into pallets and stuffed them on a plane. They landed, like I said, in the middle of the night, and nobody knew what the hell was going on until, just recently. When the hell did the mafia get in charge of the government here? Holy cow. I'm incredulous. It's so incredulous to me. How? How does this happen, and yet nothing will probably be done by Congress? This is an impeachable offense. Obama has broken the law. Out of the many times he's broken the law, but here it is clearly a case of he gave ransom payment to terrorists against U.S. policy that we do not negotiate, nor do we negotiate with terrorists, nor do we ransom hostages from terrorists. He should have got busted when he let out that POS traitor deserter Bo Bergdahl by giving him their 5 generals. That wasn't a prison swap. That was a damn ransom. You gave him 5 kings for a pawn. These people, if we somehow get to January 2017 and get Trump sworn in, it'll be a miracle. At that point, if you don't believe in God at that point, then you really need to question your beliefs and standing, because there is no possible way that we can survive the next 6 or so months in this regime without the help of God. And we need to pray all the more, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we do. Last little Muslim story here. I've mentioned before in previous about Idaho and what happened there. And I'm not going to go over it again. Catch my previous vlogs if you want to hear it. But an update on the family there. They are not getting any help by the local authorities. It took cops. It's coming out that it took cops over an hour, almost 2 hours, to arrive on scene after the initial call came in that this little girl had been sexually assaulted. Then the father had come home, and somebody presented him the cell phone from one of the boys that had sexually assaulted his child there, and he watched 30 seconds of it, and he found, I don't remember which kid it was. I think it was a 10-year-old maybe, but it was one of the kids had anally and orally penetrated the little girl before they urinated on her. And there was much more video to this. He only watched 30 seconds of it, and I have to applaud him for being able to watch that length of video and not snap and go kill every last one of those refugee bastards. He has a lot more staying power and patience than I would ever have. The mother is suffering from anxiety. The little girl is scared. They're trying to get her through therapy, and they're not getting a whole lot of help from local authorities there. And the reason why is because of the Justice Department. The Justice Department has basically laid down that we are not to criticize refugees. That if we say anything bad about the refugees, we are essentially committing a hate crime. And local authorities are taking that up to heart. This is not America, ladies and gentlemen. This is a third world tin pot dictatorship, if this is allowed to stand. What we need to be doing is we need to be making our voices heard to all those authorities there. Get in their faces. Tell them that they need to support this family over the refugees. We need to start telling our elected officials to put American citizens ahead of everyone else. It is the only way that this country is ever going to get ahead and get back to its former self. Either we put our either we put our okay, put God first always. Okay, don't mistake me to say that I'm trying to replace government with God or country with God or anything like that. So don't mistake that. Okay, put God first always. However, we have to put our country ahead of everybody else. All right, our country and our citizens ahead of the refugees, immigrants, other countries, and so forth. If we don't do this, America is done for. So let's end this on lighter note here. Do some funny, weird stories here. Utah found a Utah town had woke up one morning and found their sewers were overflowing with this weird green foam. To me, that looks like the top of like a casserole. It's kind of there's theorizing that it's runoff from some farms getting into the sewer system and causing all this bubbling and everything like that. I'm just wondering, if the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles found a new home. Then you have in California, a bunch of people saw a couple fireballs streaking across the sky, asteroids, space debris coming through. Some had theorized it was a Chinese missile launch over the country. I I don't find that entirely plausible, but you never know. You never really know with these situations here. And then I guess the last story I can put out here is that there in Hawaii you have the volcano there that's very active. It's like one of the most active volcanoes in the world, and I think it's the most active volcano in the U.S. Anyway, people were on a helicopter tour flying over, and it started bubbling up again, started beginning to erupt. Well, the top layer of the lava had cooled off, and so the hot layer below was trying to break through, and as it was breaking through, it formed a smiley face in the volcano. And I just thought, the aloha spirit is so alive and well in the islands there that even the volcanoes have it as they're destroying the countryside and homes and so forth. So aloha, time to burn you. Anyway, overall though, the last couple weeks there's been a lot of good that's happened, especially when it comes to the the absolute train wreck that was the DNC, the emails and so forth. And there was a lot of frustrations. I know that a lot of you are probably getting frustrated with what's happening, and some of you even getting discouraged that Trump may not be able to win because of the polls, what they're saying, and what other people are saying about Trump. Okay, this is what I'm going to tell you. We still have 90 something days before the election. A lot's going to happen. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a roller coaster all the way to the end. Stop worrying right now. All right, this is not the time to worry. This is not the time to panic. This is the time to be confident, to speak up, let our voices be heard, let everybody know that Trump is the man and why we need to support him. Try to get those people that are still on the fence. For those that are dead set in their ways, good luck. I mean, if somebody has a silver tongue that can be able to convince those people, go ahead. I'm not wasting my time on them because they're too far gone. They've gone full retard. And once you go full retard, you're done. There's no helping you there. The other thing too about the next 90 days is that the attacks are going to get worse. I guarantee you that Trump is going to be pummeled and pummeled and pummeled as hard as anyone has ever seen in their lifetime. Every election, it gets bloody. Every election, there is a lot of crap flinging and so forth. We just have to endure it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let me back up here. Not endure it in the sense of like George W. Bush, where you just let people continue to say things and then you never back them up. You never confront them, or you never defend yourself. No, I mean endure in that we don't get discouraged by what's being said about Trump, about us, and so forth. And instead, we should take every sling and arrow they fling at us, and we should stand up even taller and prouder and cry back. Is that the best that you can do? We have to throw this back at their face. Don't let them tell you how you should react. Be bold, be proud, be be a true supporter of Trump. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to sign out. This is the longest I've done. I mean, it's covering 2 weeks. There's a lot more I could possibly talk about, but these are the issues right now that I think are probably most important, most on people's minds. So let's focus on these, and or let's focus on the goal here. The goal is to defeat Hillary Clinton. The goal is to make sure that she never sets foot in the White House again. The only house that she should be setting foot in next is the big house. To do that, we need to focus on getting Trump to win. We need him to focus on his message of attacking Hillary and Obama, stop chasing rabbits all over the place. It's nice that he's defending us. It's nice that he's going after these idiots that are taking shots at not only him but us. But he really, really, really needs to focus on Hillary and Clinton. I believe that he'll be able to do it. I think right now he's in an adjustment period, but we need to encourage him to continue to do so. As always, folks, remember, the most powerful thing that we can do is pray. Prayer is the most powerful tool that we have to ask God to have mercy on us, to forgive us our stupidity and our sins, and then to also ask him for the graces to wake enough people up to be able to win the election coming up. If you're Catholic, I encourage you, pray the rosary daily. Pray the rosary daily. If you're not Catholic, whatever prayers that you feel are appropriate, I would also say, even if you aren't Catholic, pray the rosary, because the rosary is the second most powerful prayer that we can offer on a daily basis. The first being the Catholic Mass. Again, some of you Christians may not like the fact that I'm so overly Catholic at times, but you know what? I love my faith, and I know it to be the one true one. Not dissing you guys, I'm just stating a plain fact here. You guys, we're all Christian brothers, or we're all brothers and sisters in Christ. Okay, we need to put aside our petty differences, and we need to come together on this, and we need to pray like never before for the conversion of our country back to God, and that he has pity on us and does not saddle us with the horrible daughter of Satan that is Hillary Clinton. If she gets elected, I'm not joking, it will be the end of this country, and millions of people are going to suffer and die because of it. So pray, people, first and foremost. But secondly, second most important thing that we can do is continue to speak out. I'm doing it here through this vlog. I'm doing it on Twitter as much as I can. All right, others are doing it on Twitter as well. Do it wherever you can. If you have the ability to, have a conversation with somebody and just try to explain your views, do so. If they start yelling at you and getting all angry and indignant, then don't even push the matter, because they've gone full retard. You can't do anything about it. Just, shake the dust off your feet and walk away. Oh boy, man. It's weird being able to just talk without having a script in front of me and just have all this stuff come out of, my mouth the way that it does. Anyway, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening tonight. I hope you all have a good, safe weekend. I hope you all have a good, safe week. And until next time, this is Athanasius signing off. Christ's peace upon you all.